We got John from Fishkill, New York, big Jet fan. He wants to talk about the benching of Kerry Rhodes. John, your New Yorker sports rant begins now.
Before this guy talks, he's going to have an Irish accent. I have a feeling.
I do know that the Giants are feeling a loss because of their loss of Kenny Phillips. They can actually have Kerry Rhodes, who's been benched today in favor of Eric Smith from Michigan State. Kerry Rhodes on the year has no interceptions, no forced fumbles, no touchdowns, and no sacks. Eric Smith, on the other hand, blocked the punt last week that led to the touchdown scored by, I think, either Brad Smith or Wallace Ray on special teams. Above and beyond what Mark Sanchez has done, Kerry Rhodes, I think, is a little bit too more involved than he should be with the Twitter and the late nights and being a model and being Mr. Hollywood. I think he really needs to concentrate on being a better free safety. Otherwise, he will be replaced by Mr. T.
All right. Well, what I will say is I'd like to go at this guy, but I think he's affiliated with one of our great sponsors, so I'm going to hold back a little bit. But what I will say is that Kerry Rhodes got benched. I mean, enough complaining about him. You got exactly what you wanted. The guy's out of there. But at this point, I can't get that worked up about anything on the Jets except for the head coach. That's the guy that really bothers me. Kerry Rhodes is a bum. They took care of him. He will be benched. We'll see if that lights a fire under his ass or not.
Hard to believe, though, that a safety of his caliber just a short year ago is now benched on a Jets team that is not even that good.
Yeah.
That says, you know what it says? It says that it's not all about talent, and we've talked about this for years. It's not about talent. A lot of these guys have the same talent. It's what's inside or their mental makeup that separates them from the rest, and something is wrong with it.
Well, there's guys that come into the league and they work hard the first couple of years in the league, and then they make it and they start to coast and they start to mail it in.
And they start to feel their oats and feel themselves and want to be on the billboards and in the magazines and date all the
especially in New York City too. And then there's other guys out there. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the hardest guys in the world. He's having a great season this year, and Darren Sharper, who plays safety as well.
Right.
This guy never took anything for granted. He was he's a good-looking guy. Did some TV work, but you never saw him messing around. He was out there working his butt off year in and year out. And now at whatever he is, 36, 37 years of age, he's leading the league in interceptions. You know, Kerry Rhodes needs to take a page out of Darren Sharper's book. And do you think, I'll ask you this, do you think that this benching will light a fire under his ass, or is this a guy that'll sit there and say, screw Rex Ryan, I hate this guy, I'll just be going out and, going to 10 June at night and drinking, vodka tonics and nailing, lingerie models?
I happen to think that a guy like Kerry Rhodes, I don't know him personally, but I just, you follow him, you hear some of the interviews. I think that Kerry Rhodes will get it turned around. Maybe this is the wake-up call that he needed. Somebody needs to slap him in the rear end and get him going in the right direction. This is probably it. I think Rex Ryan's, he's a player's coach, so he's going to get these guys to play hard. This is definitely sending a message when you send one of your better players, put him on the bench. Now, hopefully for the Jets and the Jet fans, Rhodes wakes up and gets back to the player that we all saw last year.
You said something interesting there. Rex Ryan is a player's coach who will get the guys to play hard for him. Why then, after this guy had this impassioned, tearful breakdown speech in the locker room, did they come out against the Patriots like a bunch of dogs? And Joe and Evan actually asked Jericho Cotchery on Tuesday when he was on the Fan, what happened? What happened here in this game? You guys came out flat. He's like, yeah, you're right, guys. I think we did come out flat. We weren't all there. He said, well, after this speech and this coach breaking down, how is it possible that you guys come out flat? Whatever Rex Ryan is doing, it's not working there to inspire his players.
Well, I'm going to disagree with it. I mean, look, Jericho Cotchery's in the locker room, so he wants to say they came out flat, that's fine. I just think they got beat up by a much better Patriots team. When your quarterback's throwing interceptions, how are you supposed to win the game like that?
But in the beginning of the game, they did not look inspired
whatsoever. They're not as good as the Patriots. Yeah. They can't stop Brady and Moss. I don't think that they weren't inspired. Look, I like Rex Ryan. And now, I know that because when I see him do those speeches, I get motivated myself. So I don't understand how a player can't feel like that. I would get pumped up to play for a guy like this. I know a lot of guys feel like that. Of course, you're not going to have everybody on the same page. Obviously, Woody leaking that story about the crying. So maybe some guys don't love it. But I believe that Rex Ryan, if he sticks to what he believes in and keeps staying true to himself, will get these guys to play hard, weed out the bad guys, get rid of them whether they have talent or not, get your kind of players in there, and he will be successful in his system if he believes in himself and sticks to that.